The Apothecary Diaries is one of the most loved anime from 2024. The plot involves Mao Mao, who is a genius who figures out all of the puzzles and problems within the inner palace in season 1. As I loved the first video so much, I couldn't wait for the adaptation of the second season, so I started to read the manga. In this video, I will highlight two main events in the manga that I consider important for the Apothecary Diaries. Is Mao Mao still able to understand the situation in the manga? Is the world of the Apothecary Diaries bigger than it was presented in season 1? And how is the relationship between Jinshi and Mao Mao evolving? If you do not wish to know spoilers, please click off this video. Firstly, let's address what we do know about Mao Mao so far. Even if we do know her biological parents, Mao Mao was raised by an old man who worked at the palace as a doctor, and he taught Mao Mao loads about medicine. The area where she used to live before the inner palace is not so child-friendly, as it was a pleasure district, but it gave her perspective on life, which comes in handy many times. But is that still the case in the manga? There are two main events where Mao Mao's intelligence is needed. The first one is called the Moon Fairy. A funny scene where Mao Mao convinces Jinshi to dress up like a woman in order to save the political situation in the manga is probably one highlight from the manga for me. The scene is perfectly made to make the guest believe in Selene, which Mao Mao thinks is one of their gods. In the world of the Apothecary Diaries, there are other places which we only get to hear about. For instance, these visitors come from a country that is a wave point between the north and the west trade routes. In order to keep a great connection with this nation, the Moon Fairy should appear as her name became popular overseas during the years. The problem is just one. The Moon Fairy, who no longer meets the descriptions because of her age, is the old lady who raised Mao Mao in her own way. In order to convince the guest that the Moon Fairy still exists, Jinshi needs to be kept at a distance so no one would notice that he is a man. In order to make the appearance more mystical, Mao Mao uses some fireflies to create this amazing scene, which is convincing enough for the guests. You would wonder why this is important, and in my opinion, this chapter makes us realize that the world of the Apothecary Diaries is bigger than we expect it to be. The plot suddenly changed from the inner palace to another destination. This is also the case for the Fox Village. This part is not yet finished in the manga, but I assume it will be a major plot twist in the story. Mao Mao is kidnapped, and now she lives in a distant village where she is interested even more in Shisui and Suirei, who are actually sisters. The story takes an interesting turn when we do come to know about the Fox Village, which is the current location of Mao Mao. As the story tells, the people from the village worship the fox god of good harvest. Long time ago, the people who lived in this island encountered a tribe from the west, which resulted in mixed-race children. As a sign of protest, the neighbors took their fields because not everyone agreed with the foreigners. Some people ran away and created this village to ensure their safety, and the belief in the fox god began. The fox villagers are the descendants of the mixed races. When this festival started long time ago, people used only white spotless fox masks, and as the time went by, they began to color them. The main colors are green and red, and an interesting detail is how men in this village are unable to distinguish the color, and some rare women cannot either. This story could be a link between the current royal family and the descendants of the Fox Village, but sadly we do not know more and how this will affect the royal family. I have high hopes for a plot twist that only Mao Mao can understand. Now let's carry on with the relationship between Mao Mao and Jinshi. Mao Mao's and Jinshi's relationship continues with cute scenes, but what is different is how Jinshi starts to show feelings of concern for Mao Mao since she's been missing. He usually wears a mask in order to hide his true self. Now he can no longer hide these feelings. There is also a dark side of him where we can witness how protective he could be for Mao Mao. Of course, there are some interesting details that Mao Mao finds out about Jinshi, but I will let you read about them if it won't be animated in the second season. Thank you very much for watching, and please let me know what you think about the world of the Apothecary Diaries in the comments down below.